the reason to be encouraged is to see the second half and to see what the young guys in this team are becoming. We kind of know what Ansu Fati is and what his potential can be, but we're also seeing Pedri coming off the bench, 17 years old, and really changing the pace of the game in the attack for Barcelona. Trincao, who's 20 years old, coming off the bench, and now you have a guy who's direct, who knows his role, who's going to get after defenders, who also became dynamic in the second half and made a difference coming off the bench. And then they built enough momentum to where they tie the game up, and really Barcelona were unfortunate not to actually come out of this game with a win. There are reasons to be encouraged, but there are certain things that Barcelona have to clean up if indeed they're going to be a serious contender in La Liga this year.
Yeah, Jules, this is a weird one to reflect on, because you feel if this game was played for 5 more minutes, Barcelona would have won it. They had so many chances in the second half. So do we just chalk this off as being unlucky, or do you say, well, wait a minute, this is Alaves, you're Barcelona, you have to go there and win, no excuses?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that. There's disappointment, surely. Away form has been an issue, not just under Koeman, but under previous managers as well. It's not the first time they go somewhere away and struggle a bit to get into the game, because this is not a game, as you've explained rightly, both of you, that you should take a whole half to get into. That first half should have been better. It was too slow. It was too sloppy. I'm sorry, but Sergio Busquets, either he needs to go on holidays for a little bit. He can't really go away anyway. But, he needs a little break, because we saw that he didn't play against Juventus, and you saw that Pjanic put far more rhythm into the games with Frankie de Jong next to him. And again, I thought in that first half, Busquets, he was too slow. He was just too slow. Everything was too slow. With Pjanic in the second half, I thought he was a bit quicker. He was much better. And then Pedri came on, like Ali said, and already the rhythm went up again, and I think that's what was missing in that first half. So I think you could be, there's disappointment, of course, because this is a game that they should win every time, and yeah, maybe 5 more minutes they should have won it. They should have won it anyway. But the fact is, they haven't won it. They're way behind Real Madrid in the table as well, which is really worrying. You saw Messi's face at the end. He looked really frustrated. He got yellow carded in the first half, simply through frustration. Same at the end of the game. I saw Ronald Koeman on the bench, not really showing anything, not doing anything, not doing much at all on the bench, and that disappointed me as well.
The cutaways to Koeman on the bench were fantastic. Let's pick up on that Messi point, Ali, because there were a couple of times late on in this one, he tried to do everything by himself. He tried to beat everybody, and obviously he didn't manage it. A couple of shots he got off target. How much is he responsible for helping these youngsters and trying to continue their development as opposed to being the continual hero?
And that is a conversation that nobody can have with Lionel Messi but Lionel Messi himself. He's got to look at himself in the mirror and be very objective and very honest with himself, and understand that where he is in his career right now, he's not the player that he was a couple of seasons ago. That physically there are certain things that he was able to do 5-10 years ago that he's not able to do now. The yards of separation that he used to create, that used to be 4 or 5 yards, that allowed him to get that shot around the corner with his left foot, now that space is 1 or 2 yards. Things seem to be tightening down in terms of the space for him. Things just seem to be a little tighter than they once were. And so he has to have the same conversation that I imagine at one point or another Cristiano Ronaldo had with himself. I'm not the guy that I used to be, but I can still be effective. And how do I manage to do that? And in order to do that, you got to look around and see and trust. And that, I think it's a key word, trust that the talent around you can help you continue to be the productive player that you have been for a decade, that it can make the job easier for you if you allow yourself to trust those guys. Yes, let's give the ball out wide to Trincao. Let's give the ball to Pedri. Let's give it to Ansu Fati. Let's trust that these guys can do the job. Because the more that he continues to do it by himself, even though he may be trying, maybe he's having a positive attitude. Maybe he's saying, you know what, I'm going to put this team on my shoulders. And what he's doing is actually hurting himself and hurting his team by trying to do, well, too much. And he doesn't need to do it, because I think that he does have players around him that can help him continue to be the player that we have all loved for a decade or so.
The concern you would have is that it would be good to have an empathetic coach who you feel could help you get to that point, Jules. And I'm not sure, am I right in thinking that maybe Koeman isn't that man?
I would tend to agree with you. I don't know Koeman personally. I don't know how he works in depth at Barcelona. I know how he's worked before, and they're certainly not the kind of manager that he was. And I don't think that's still the manager that he is now. Tactically, I don't see anything special that he has done. Okay, the 4-2-3-1 is a difference to the 4-3-3 that we've been used to. But I mean, today, apart from the changes at halftime and putting Piqué up front like everybody else had done for the last 10 years, there was nothing else that I could see. So I'm not sure how much Ronald Koeman will look to make the most of Lionel Messi in the form of Lionel Messi is now, like Ali just explained. I don't think so. For me, it looks more like, okay, this is my way, no other way. We've seen that already with many players. And look at the face that Koeman had on the bench and him not really doing much. It looks like that will be the case now as well. So I think we're not far from being in a situation where there's an issue around Messi as well. Even just Messi not scoring, let alone Messi creating as much as before, and like Ali said, being as amazing as he was before. It was just about scoring, other than penalties, I mean, this season. Already that, if they can put him back on that, and if the team can work around him so he can be efficient again in front of goals, I think that would be a huge improvement.
What I would say as well, Dan, is that differently that what we saw couple of weeks ago from Lionel Messi, where late in games he was disappearing, including El Clásico. What we saw from Messi today is that he was fully engaged, just like he was against Juventus. So it wasn't so much about lacking attitude or lacking character, or that he didn't care, or that he didn't want to win the game, or that he just got tired and then just kind of disappeared. Is that he was almost trying to do things that he was doing 5 years ago, and he doesn't need to do that. But in order for him to realize that, he's got to be able to look around and say, those guys can do the job for me as well.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.